Hi, it's me, Dick Jr. again. I'm here with Daniel chapter 4 today. This is pretty much just a straight read through, um, but it's a good lesson on pride and how God gives and takes away, and that we really are not in control of what we think we are. So I'm just going to start here in verse 1 of chapter 4. Nebuchadnezzar the king to all the peoples, and that's what God said. He was king of all peoples, okay? Nations and every man of every language that live in all the earth. May your peace abound. It has seemed good to me to declare the signs and wonders which the Most High God has done for me. How great are his signs and how mighty are his wonders. His kingdom is an everlasting kingdom, and his dominion is from generation to generation. I, Nebuchadnezzar, was at ease in my house and flourishing in my palace. I saw a dream and it made me fearful, and these fantasies as I lay on my bed and the visions in my mind kept alarming me. So something had really troubled him. So I gave orders to bring into my presence all the wise men of Babylon, and that they might make known to me the interpretation of the dream. And as we know from other chapters, Nebuchadnezzar did this, had interpreters of dreams, and I'm sure you probably already know what's going to happen here, or if you've been following along. Then the magicians and the conjurers and the Chaldeans and the diviners came in and I related the dream to them, but they could not make its interpretation known to me. So Nebuchadnezzar told all these magicians and conjurers his dreams, and they couldn't tell him what it meant. And quite possibly, they didn't want to. That's another possibility. As we go on, you'll find out. But finally, Daniel came in before me, whose name is Belshazzar, according to the name of my God, and in whom is a spirit of the holy gods. And I related the dream to him, saying, O Belshazzar, chief of the magicians, since I know that a spirit of the holy gods is in you, and no mystery baffles you, tell me the visions of my dream, which I have seen, along with its interpretation. Now these were the visions in my mind. As I lay on my bed, I was looking, and behold, there was a tree in the midst of the earth, and its height was great. The tree grew large and became strong, and its height reached to the sky, and it was visible to the end of the whole earth. I want you to, the whole earth. This statement comes up often. God's not just talking to one place, one region. He's talking about the whole world. That's why it has statements like the whole earth in the Bible. Its foliage was beautiful and its fruit abundant, and in it was food for all. The beasts of the field found shade under it, and the birds of the sky dwelt in its branches, and all living creatures fed themselves from it. I was looking in a vision in my mind as I lay on my bed, and behold, an angelic watcher, a holy one, descended from heaven. He shouted out and spoke as follows: Chop down the tree and cut off its branches. Strip off its foliage and scatter its fruit. Let the beasts flee from under it and the birds from its branches. Yet leave the stump of its roots in the ground, but with a band of iron and bronze around it, in the new grass of the field, and let him be drenched with the dew of heaven, and let him share with the beasts in the grass of the earth. Let his mind be changed from that of a man, and let a beast's mind be given to him, and let 7 periods of time pass over him. This sentence is by the decree of the angelic watchers, and the decision is a command of the holy ones, in order that the living may know that the Most High is ruler over the realm of mankind, and bestows it on whom he wishes, and sets over it the lowliest of men. This is the dream which I, King Nebuchadnezzar, have seen. Now you, Belshazzar, tell me its interpretation, inasmuch as none of the wise men of my kingdom is able to make known to me the interpretation. But you are able, for a spirit of the holy gods is in you. Then Daniel, whose name is Belshazzar, was appalled for a while, as his thoughts alarmed him. The king responded and said, Belshazzar, do not let the dream or its interpretation alarm you. Belshazzar replied, my lord, if only the dream applied to those who hate you, and its interpretation to your adversaries. The tree that you saw, which became large and grew strong, whose height reached to the sky and was visible to all the earth, and whose foliage was beautiful and its fruit abundant, and in which was food for all, under which the beasts of the field dwelt, and in whose branches the birds of the sky lodged. It is you, O king, for you have become great and grown strong, and your majesty has become great and reached to the sky, and your dominion to the end of the earth. In that the king saw an angelic watcher, a holy one, descending from heaven and saying, chop down the tree and destroy it, yet leave the stump with its roots in the ground, but with a band of iron and bronze around it in the new grass of the field, and let him be drenched with the dew of heavens, and let him share with the beasts of the field until 7 periods of time pass over him. This is the interpretation, O king, and this is the decree of the Most High, which has come upon my lord, the king. So he's telling him that this is God telling him this. That you be driven away from mankind, and your dwelling place be with the beasts of the field, and you be given grass to eat like cattle, and be drenched with the dew of heaven. And 7 periods of time will pass over you until you recognize the Most High is ruler over the realm of mankind, and bestows it on whomever he wishes. So all he has to learn is that God is the ruler over mankind, and he bestows that rule to whom he wishes. That's all Nebuchadnezzar has to understand, because he no longer understands that. And in that it was commanded to leave the stump with roots of the tree, your kingdom will be assured to you after you recognize that it is heaven that rules. Therefore, O king, may my advice be pleasing to you. Break away now from your sins by doing righteousness, and from your iniquities by showing mercy to the poor, in case there may be a prolonging of your prosperity. All this happened to Nebuchadnezzar the king. 12 months later, he was walking on the roof of the royal palace of Babylon, which was probably a courtyard. The king reflected and said, is this not Babylon the Great, which I myself have built as a royal residence of the might of my power, and for the glory of my majesty? So here he was pontificating on himself. I built Babylon the Great. I am the great Nebuchadnezzar. No one can do this but me. I am the greatest. And this is what happened. While the word was in the king's mouth, a voice came from heaven saying, King Nebuchadnezzar, to you it is declared, sovereignty has been removed from you, and you will be driven away from mankind, and your dwelling place will be with the beasts of the field. You will be given grass to eat like cattle, and 7 periods of time will pass over you until you recognize that the Most High is ruler over the realm of mankind, and bestows it on whoever he wishes. So all he has to do is understand that God rules mankind, and God gives it to whomever he wishes, the rule of mankind. Okay. Immediately the word concerning Nebuchadnezzar was fulfilled, and he was driven away from mankind and began eating grass like cattle, and his body was drenched with the dew of heaven until his hair had grown like eagle's feathers and his nails like bird's claws. But at the end of that period, I, Nebuchadnezzar, raised my eyes toward heaven, and my reason returned to me. And I blessed the Most High, and praised and honored him who lives forever. For his dominion is an everlasting dominion, and his kingdom endures from generation to generation. And that's what he said at the beginning of this, if you remember. All the inhabitants of the earth are accounted as nothing, but he does according to his will in the host of heaven, and among the inhabitants of earth. And no one can ward off his hand or say to him, what have you done? At that time my reason returned to me, and my majesty and splendor were restored to me for the glory of my kingdom. And my counselors and my nobles began seeking me out. So I was reestablished in my sovereignty, and surpassing greatness was added to me. Now I, Nebuchadnezzar, praise, exalt, and honor the King of heaven. That's a capital K, King of heaven. For all his works are true and his ways just. He is able to humble those who walk in pride. See what I mean? So right there, Nebuchadnezzar ended it. He'll humble those who walk in pride. So that's Daniel chapter 4. And I don't have a lot circled. It's just a wonderful read through. Thanks for listening to me read it. And I'll be back very soon with Daniel chapter 5. God bless.